Moshe, how are you? Can you hear me?
Baruch Hashem, yes, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Baruch Hashem. Shkoyach for joining us.
For giving this year.
So, someone sent me something right before Rosh Hashanah. Sagan Pshat. Why is it that we dip the challah in the honey? Why shouldn't we dip the challah in the sugar? It's a funny pshat. We spoke about the apple and the honey. So anyway,
There are Sfardim that do dip it in sugar.
yeah, they dip it in sugar.
Yeah, there's Sfardim they use sugar. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Sure, it's called Yaras Dvash, right? Yaras Dvash. So sugar, the kids say is better than honey, right? As kids like better sugar than honey, right? Okay, a pshat like this, a pshat. But I remembered that we once learned a mimer, unbelievable thing about honey. I remembered we once learned a mimer, something mashu about honey. We once learned a mimer, a Purim mimer. The Gemara says, it's a sugya we once did. There is the old perfumes in the days of old. The perfume, the mother of all perfumes, was a thing called musk, and that came from a gland of animals, and we learned about it. And then that was in the gland. They used to take out whatever was in there. They would dry it, and then they would make it into powder or make it into liquid, and that was the mother of all perfumes. You could add some salt and pepper, make a hint ahead, but that was the main perfume. Adayam is also expensive perfumes. So that's called muzka or mushka balaz. That's like Gemara talks about. So in that, when we were learning it, there is a machlokes between Rabbeinu Yonah and the Rosh. Rabbeinu Yonah said that if you take this musk, not only you're allowed to smell it, but you're allowed to eat it. If you put a little bit of this into your food, so the question comes from a treif animal. Yeah, it comes from a treif animal. Huh? Yeah, this animal, that animal, not from a kosher animal. So the answer is, Ben Yonah says, nah, nicht gefährlich. He says it really originally was blood. And now it became a new metzius. It's Pirsha B'Alma, became a new metzius. It's not blood anymore. It's 100% kosher now. You're allowed to eat it. It's kosher. And the Rosh says, no, it's mutter to smell, but it's not kosher to eat. Okay, that's Adkan the Machlokes. The Alter Rebbe says in the Maimer that this is the Machlokes in the Gemara in Yuma. The Gemara in Yuma has Machlokes, and then the Gemara resolves the Machlokes. What happens to Tshuva? Tshuva makes the Zdoinus into Shigogis, or it turns it into Zachiyas. The Gemara says we can say it now. Machlokes depends how strong the Tshuva is. So the Alter Rebbe, what's the union of there is really it says it's a dam from a chayah, it's called Yadua. Yadua is there's Oiv and Yadoini, which is the union of Shalosh Klipsat Mei. It's Isur. It's a Davashi Isur. Kishuv, Isur. It's awesome. So it's 3 klippas. And what is it? The blood. There's a koch in klippa, a kloch in Olam Haza. So what does Yid have to do? You have to spill the blood. That's the avoid of Yom Kippur. You have to get rid of the blood of klippa. There's 2 avoidas. One avoida is that turning this darkness into shgogas. Oisi Yitzhahara. Horgoy. Kill the Yitzhahara. But there is process lavavoy, like we're talking in Yom Kippur, the Yerushalmi, that the Yitzhatoiv is a Yitzhatoiv and the Yitzhahara becomes a Yitzhatoiv like Avraham Avinu. That takes the blood and turns it into kosher. That makes this darkness should become into zachuyas. This darkness itself should turn into zachuyas. Hecher dag in tshuva. Hecher dag in tshuva. This darkness itself turns into zachuyas. Yeah.
I got a letter. He wouldn't trust them to test anything. So I sent the letter, how is it that they give me the texture or whatever? So they said that in the process of what they do, they take safe and gelatin, that because it
Kevin the Matthias.
changes the Matthias, that it's really not an animal thing, it's something else. This has to do with what
Yeah. But the problem is if Rav Belsky tells me that, I accept it. These guys, I'm not sure. You have to know. All right. So that's bemis. That's so the shaila is at some point. Oh, so okay, look, so they didn't do anything. Okay, so then on gelatin, so they're not okay. Right. Yeah. אבל אתה יכול לעשות טובה, יש לי מאמר ליד השטנדר שלי, ספר. You have to have a kelev. You have a kelev? Okay. No. There's a lot of these stuff, the kelev will let you gladly eat it. Why wouldn't the kelev not eat it? A lot of these things, gelatin, that's not because ein eroy lachilas kelev. The kelev will eat it gladly, especially if you mix it with chocolate. You make jelly rings, the kelev will eat it very happily. Huh? Yeah. So the ein eroy lachilas kelev means something is really so spoiled. A lot of these things we're talking about are not, there are plenty eroy lachilas kelev. It's a different issue. Here we're talking about things that were osur, and they became mutter because they became a new thing. They were processed so much that they're not the old thing anymore. That's it. It's not. It's a new item. It's a new item. So the Alter Rebbe says about this blood. So in Avodas Hashem, the machlokes is about which tshuva we're talking about. Are we talking about the tshuva that the yid just forgets? No more sin. This year we're not going to sin. We're going to be good yid and do Torah mitzvahs. Okay. That doesn't make that the blood itself became kosher. And a higher daga tshuva is that the Yetzer Hara itself became a Yetzer Torah. Yeah. But that's something else. That's something else. It's the Eibishter does. I'm not sure that this is with our avoid that. The Eibishter is going to make also lahazal Yisrael. The Eibishter is going to do it. Here we're talking about an hour avoid Hashem now. I'll find it for you. Like I know Chassidus always. Right. There are a few things like that everyone quotes all the time, that not necessarily we have a medrash for it, but like shchanti b'toichem. No one ever found a medrash. Shalosh says it. Right. It'd be so earth-shattering, like right. But if you're looking for the source, remind me, because Chassidus has it all over the place. It wouldn't be hard to find. Right. Mm-hmm. I hear. I mean, that's what the Gedolei Yisrael ask. There's some Sof has a Torah, the Rebbe has a Torah on it. So. Yeah. Oh, that was used for smell. It wasn't used to eat. It was used to smell. I don't know. Was it? But there was definitely things that were not kosher achila. That's in Yudal Sam one of the Torahs. I don't know. This was one of them. So, No, verstehe, Ktoris is a mile of Ktoris, but no one ate it anyway. It's not a shaila of eating it. No one ate any of the Ktoris was burnt. No, you're allowed to have. You're not allowed to smell it. Or not to have anoah. There's only very few things. It's anoah. No, that's a separate thing. Meila, not meila. You asked if you're allowed to use adova tome. So from right. No, most of them were kosher things. There were things that grow on a tree. Most of them were kosher things. So the Alter Rebbe says that that these are the two steps in avodas Hashem. But I'm thinking to myself, in the original machloikis that the Torah brings, and Ben Yonah, is that Ben Yonah says, I have a raya, because anything that falls into honey, the honey it has such a strong power that the honey turns it around and can take anything that's isur and turns it into heter. So the Rosh says, Arvach boy, a guarantor near as a guarantor. Who told me that din is true? Who told me that it's true that anything that falls into honey, even if it's isur, it turns into heter? Turn the isur into heter, like it makes it a new thing. But the Ben Yonah thought that the Sadova Poshut, he thought even the Rosh, everyone will agree with him, because anything that falls into honey, the honey is going to turn it around. Not only is it going to be isur, it'll be turned heter. That's what the Ben Yonah thought. And the Rosh said, I don't agree with you, not about the blood, not about the honey. I disagree with you on both things. No. Which flowers can't be? What's not kosher? What kind of flowers cannot be kosher? Right. The Gemara says it's not. The Gemara says that that's the difference we're speaking about the tzira and the dvoida. That the dvoida doesn't add anything its own. It just takes from the. Huh? Yeah, I guess whatever is adds is not considered choshev enough in the eyes of Chazal. Right, exactly. Consider like soya. The honey part of it, the tasty part of it, is coming from the flowers. No, right. You need the bees to do it. Right. So Bemis is whatever you're trying to say. He's saying that Lapoil Take, the bee adds enzymes. Okay. Well, Lapoil Chazai say it becomes kosher. So the Ben Yonah says that Isra that falls into honey is so powerful that it takes the Isra and turns it into heter. Okay, so the Rosh disagrees. But I was thinking, so that has a connection with the good simon. So now you understand. That's like, first of all, there's a connection with the Inyav Chodesh HaTishrei, which is a Chodesh HaTshuva, which is the question about how strong the Tshuva is exactly. And Takir, that Ben Yonah says that's what honey does. Honey does, it takes even the Isser itself and turns it around to become heter. So you couldn't have a better simon than that. What kind of better simon could you have? That you took the Yetzirah himself and you took the Isser itself and you turned it into heter. You took the doinos and you turned it into zachiyas. And the sham came best at a simon. Or like you have sugar, you don't have that with sugar. After with honey, according to the Ben Yonah, you have this unbelievable thing that the Isser that falls into the honey is nepachlias heter. Okay, unbelievable thing. So that the whole Indian of lekach comes from honey. Everything is from honey. The simon toiv is all in honey. So pashtus, whenever this minhag started, maybe yadas dvash, sugar was not so popular. Pashtus, whatever. Who had sugar? When did sugar become popular, and when did this minhag start? But Lapoil, it stayed that the simon toiv is lekach, honey cake, honey. The simon toiv is dipping everything in honey. Chal and honey, the apple and honey. So the simon toiv is in honey. So I'm saying if you put together this mimer, because the honey has the special thing according to the Ben Yoina, which takes the Isser itself and turns it into Heter, which means take dinim itself and turn them in Antokas dinim, turn the dinim to something sweet, that turn the Eitz Hara, that turns the Doinus into Zachiyas. It's a good thing. I think that's.
Why the honey? The honey is such a good thing. Basically, under the term it can die.
They have to be big enough to This by Kol Nidre, I mean by Neila, it's just some interesting line that popped out to me in a Maimer. The Rebbe says that there's a story that Reb Chaim Vital asked Arizal, why are you saying Vidui? You never send. It's like a kapella. So the Reb Chaim himself answered, oh, because all the Yidden are one goof, so if someone else sins, so that Arizal has to say for that. So the Rebbe asks, even Tzaddikim have to do tshuva because they could have done more. And also, Chassidus says that Tzaddikim, even though the Molav Avos Hashem, but there's Yesh Mishaoyev, spoke about this lately in the Maimorim, the whole concept of Avos from Yeshus. In a positive way also, that's the way the Eibishter made. A person has no self-confidence. A person is a Sheva Keli, cannot have a relationship with someone else with love because they don't feel worthy. You have to feel worthy, and then then you can have a good yachas of love with a wife with a husband, with the children, with other people. But the Avos Hashem comes from Yeshus, so they have to do tshuva for that. So the Rebbe says, yeah, those things Taki have to do tshuva. But at the end of the day, the Eibishter made that Ava comes with Yeshus. Who made that teva? I made it. You made it. Who? The tzaddik made it. The Eibishter made it. That was the Metzias. The Eibishter made the teva. That Yesh Misha Oyev. That's the way the Eibishter made. That Ava comes with Yeshus. Yira could come with Bittel, but Ava has to come with Yeshus. So Emes is the end. The tzaddik has to tshuva for that. But Lepoil, so the fact that the Rebbeinu Shalom forgives him, that's a chiddush. The Eibishter made that teva anyway. So he really sins. No, he sins. He sins. So here, when he does this chiddush, unbelievable chiddush. That's why the mokim shebal tshuva tzadikim gunim echem Muhammad boy, even though there's a lot of pshatim and chassidus and sifrei musar, but they make creates from the pshutim. Poshet yid sin taka hot avedas. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Now we could turn this doinus and this zachuyas. There's a lot to talk about. This gewaldik, like the story related to Baditcher. He met a yid. He started hugging him. He said, yeah, you're my friend. Yeah, you're the best. He said, what? He says, when your Zedonis turn into Zachias, you can imagine what's going to be with you. When your Zedonis turn into Zachias, it will be the best in the world. Kids say didn't let go of the guy until the guy came with him and he started to learn. Taki became about Shula. So the Rebbe says here, לכן הכפורה שעל זה, הצדיק ואין חידוש כל כך. ועיקר החידוש, ובמילא על מיילה בכפורה חטאים כפשוטים, שזה מסגל התוקף הבלתי מוגבלת של עסקה ישראל והקדוש ברוך הוא. שגם כשעושה היפך רצוני, מכל מקום הם רוצים לפונים יסבורך כמו של חותם עולם. That Eibishter loves them like as if they didn't sin. In the brackets that Rebbe writes, מכל מקום על ידי תשובה וכפורה, הם רוצים לפונים כמו של חותם עולם. What do you mean brackets? Sakila psagav orche. Al yedei tshuvahem rutzim shelachat ma'olam. Sakila, this is a brackets. I think it is that it's the emphasis that Rebbe has the same word. It says Yom Kippur Tzuma Shel Yom HaChaper. The Rebbe says, oh, why does that have to? Why do we need tshuva? Because really, it's in order for the pagam is only in the outside of the neshama. The etzem neshama, there's no pagam. Person is a yid, etzem neshama never pagam. But you have to be megala the etzem neshama to heal the outside of the neshama. You have to heal, just like Begashmi is a person you have to heal a person. You have to make God. You have to other parts of the body have to be strong, and then it heals the rest of the part that is wounded. So you have to megala. Itzuma shel yoim is mechaper. It's just that the tshuva is megala the mile of itzuma shel yoim. It's megala the etzam anashama. The mela over there's no pagam to begin with. Everything is healed. So same thing here. The Rebbe is saying that the ikir is take when a yid does tshuva for take chatoim, and that's mezgala toikef bilti mugbal shel iskash yisrov v'kuchabrichu. Kam kshos hepach eretzanim makom makom brackets. They tshuva and merutzum lafonu k'may kodim shel echotam ha'olam. Ma'am razal makom shel tshuva and tzedikim v'lechol ha'olam. But that's only in brackets. The Rebbe says that's why the Arizal emes the Arizal did tshuva. Because a tzaddik could also do more, and there's yesh mishoya. But that tshuva, that you don't get that mila. When the fact that the Arizal, me and you, that we're connected, guf echad, and there are yidden that they do avedis taka as avonas chatoim shaim as gutta, real ones. So and the Arizal feels that them and him are one, and therefore he says viduyim for their hate because he feels it's mamash his. So Mamela, that gives the Arizal the aliyah, and gives also them, gives them aliyah, but also the Arizal the aliyah, because those chatoim turn into zachuyas. Those chatoim, so that's why the Reb Chaim, he could have said, my Rebbe says vidu, because ain't tzaddik baretz yasatoiv, whatever. There's a lot of things that you could say why the Arizal sounds off the wall. That Israel is saying vidu for someone else's chait. No, but because if you're going to say that Israel is saying vidu because bedakus, he didn't do real gewaldike mile of tshuvas when you have chatoim, real chatoim. So that's why the Chaim Vital said some of us don't have this problem like the Arizal. We don't have the problem of Arizal. Some of us. So the Mela. Huh? לא מסתכל עליך. The Rebbe adds, the emphasis, the Ikar Chidush of the Vali Tshuva is the avodah that comes afterwards. Because there's an unbelievable Cheliyate, like the Zohar says. Unbelievable Cheliyate, and that's the Ikar Mile in the Vali Tshuva. So to summarize, the Cheliyate, that the Vali Tshuva have much power, a force. Chel is Koyach, Chelecho. Koyach, Yate, extra. Right. Hashem. So, and today is from the days that the 4 days that no Yidden gets a chance to do any chatoim. So, they shall helfen that coming from Neila and coming from Yom Kippur, that it should all be turned into honey. Yeah. Okay. So the Rebbe shall helfen. My brother, I was discussing with him today this word. So the emphasis, the Rebbe says that the story that the Rebbe Rashab went to his father, he said after him, "What's Kippur? What's someone he said, "Yetz of Ma'esh Truvaton." So the Rebbe says that the biur is because the pshat is that when a person, why we say Slach Lon in Shmoneser? Because before davening, derech Odom Yoshel Ifniish, a person thinks I'm good. State non some Rabbanan Shalom, start feeling that maybe we have to say Slach Lon. So that's the biur that Rebbe give. But my brother was saying a nice thing. It could be said, and the Chabad, the Rabbeim, they were so busy. Who's thinking about tshuva? They're busy connecting with Yechida Sheben Neshama. After Yom Kippur, Madaftach Tshuvaton. But Yom Kippur, Chatoim, who's name of Chatoim? We're talking about the Gil of Yechida. Okay. So, since this has a little bit of a shaykhus, we're standing before. I want to do a sugya that we've done before, Eikev Etofel, that we've done so much, but I just want to look at it. Another thing from the Tzemach Tzedek. We never looked at it inside Bemis. It's an Daf Mem Daled. pass it around, please. Could you give it up? Sagt der Mishnah, wie von Maliach Tchilo Pas Imoi. A person that they brought in the Maliach, and then the Pas. Mevarach al Maliach, Paitas a Pas. The brachas are only on the Maliach. Shapas Tfeila lo Izak Kol Sheikim mit Tfeila. Mevarach Tika Paitas a Tfeila. Sagt Rashi, before Rashi. Sagt the Gemara, Staf Mem Dal Dam Dalaf. Mika Mida to have a Maliach Ikar Pas Tfeila. Is there such a thing? Doesn't Bchal exist such a thing that the Maliach should be Ikar and the Pas should be Tfeila? We're talking about the people that are eating Peiris Genoise. And the rest of the Gemara we already did. We spoke about this. I mean, we spoke about it about Peh. There was 100 students. Every student collected 10. Who Tzona Bas Tlosa Sovi. Everyone would carry a basket, 3 saw, huge, and he ate it all up. Mishtaba the lot times Ziyuna, and he would make a shvur that he tasted nothing. Ziyuna Saldaitach, he ate baskets of fruits. He said, I'm hungry, I'm still hungry. So how is it possible? He didn't taste any mezoina. It wasn't satisfying. It was very sweet. Rababo used to eat these fruits from the kinneret until he would sweat, and any fly that would go on him would slip off. They would eat these fruits until they lost all their hair. They got so oily. Shlokish used to eat until he'd go crazy. His mamish better than hashish. This stuff was like. He would send balushim to grab him and to tie him up to bring him home. His wife should take care of him. That's how crazy he would go from eating these fruits. Okay. We had a pashat. We spoke about this. Okay. I just want to talk about the nigla of this. Rashi says, Maliach kol davar maluach. Peiris genoisa, peiris eretz yam kineres, chashuva min pas. They're more choshev than pas. Tosfos says, Barichel peiris genoisa, shamaliach ikar shubah lo hoshev aleiv, shenech l'shvnei mesikus ha'peiris. Oh, exactly. So what's going on? So Rashi, Tosfos says there's 3 things over here. That he ate very sweet peiris, and like the Rambam says, it becomes very in the stomach. It gets from the mesikus, from the leichus of the peiris, he says, and then he eats something maluach because the maluach is like had the salt. Salt is like you put salt on the ice in the winter, and it melts everything. So also in your stomach when you eat something maluach. It takes away the leichus that's giving you a stomachache. A pas shalachar of tofel v'enabayel b'shvil maliyach. So you have 3 things. First, he eats the peiros, which are very sweet. Then he eats the maliyach that is very salty. But then he gets his mouth is on fire, and then he eats the pas. That's the 3 things. Vim time a peiros have ikar maliyach tofel avarach ala peiros with the partikula. You make a bracha on the peiros, and everything is covered. V'yeshlema the ma'idi shaloi ochal peiros ba'osei maimed. He didn't eat the peiros in the same room. He went to a different room. But really, if he made a bracha on the peiros, the bracha would cover the maliach and the pas. So, therefore, but really, had there been all 3 on the table, and he knew everything. So then he would make a bracha on the peiros, and that would cover the maliach and the pas. It's just that he walked to another house, or he didn't have. So now, between the maliach and the pas, the maliach is more ikar, and the pas is more tafel. No, because really he wants to eat the sweet fruits. But now that he has a stomachache, so he eats something salty. Now he has a throat ache, so he eats the bread. But really, he only wants the fruit, so he makes the bracha on the fruit. No, this is different. That's different. Huh? Why aren't you eating just the meatballs? Can you do just the meatballs? Huh? Yeah? Yeah? Oh. I don't know if it's ad kedekach. If a person really, if that's really the thinking of a person, so then takazai. But the thing is that if a person's choshed that that's the thing, then he should make a bracha first on the lokshin. So then he has no problem. If you lefon of zakt it's a machzelik, if you lefon of malich betchila, called over maluach. He brings from Rashi, called over maluach. It's interesting. Why Rashi? What is it Rashi adding with the words called over maluach? Pasim moy mavorich ala malich poitas a pasha pas tefel. Kosovo toises afagav the shmin and the pas poitas a paris. And even though the previous Mishnah says that the pas covers everything that's in the meal, it's a lashmin and the form and pas tefela. It's a chidush that the pas sometimes is tofu. I think also Talmid Rebbe Yonav Zel Shoyne Iker Mishnah Zulaba Lashmene Sheikar Poiter is a tofu. She's a poshel Shmina Lama Masnisim from the previous Mishnah. The Ktani Berach Al Pas Poiter is a parperes. We learned already in the previous Mishnah that the bracha the pas covers the parperes. Ela Balashmeni comes to teach us. Shapama Fila Pas Nami Tefela. That they're coming to teach us. Chidush. Shaloi Taimah Shaloi Lama Pas Tefela Menecha Shavusa Kamash Mom Shalapona Mitfela Shein Nikra Chilos Avura Pas Vein Mavorach Alavat Kalashayim. It's like a chiddush. Wow, pas could be tough. Like wow, who would think that pas is tough? That's a chiddush. Can't have no word by Gemara. Gab tznoim v'zayis. Similar to that, the Gemara says about tznoim v'zayis. Ima tznoim ikar mavorach ala tznoim apoiter it's a zayis. He makes the bracha on the tznoim and that covers the zayis. After gab the zayis means shiva. Ubechasa boyde priyates. It's a lot of miles the zayis. It's from the shiva saminim as a boyde priyates. It's tznoim any min zayin. Ubechasa boyde priyadam. I feel achi. Havelai zayis tefela v'tznoin ikar. Mavorach al ikar apoiter it's a tefela. The Gemara brinden. The Gemara continues. So Rashi says, "Peretz eretz yam kineret chashuvim min hapas." That these peretz are more chashuv. The yam kineret, those fruits are delicious. Now, if you go today, I don't know, the fruits in Israel are delicious, but in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, it was such a bracha over there. The fruits in Eretz Yisrael, that was unbelievable, unbelievable. Yeah. And they're very good. And they're very good. Yeah. Wow. Okay. More than that, it's all. Yeah. Interesting. שהמליח עיקר, שהוא בא להשיב הלב שנחלש למסיקוס הפרס, והפש אחר לפתוף ממנו בא בשביל המליח. עד כאן לשונה. למה הוא צריך רש"י, לא עם הפרס ים כנרת חשוב מן הפס. אפילו לא יחשוב מן הפס, אפילו הוכי יש לפס, דין תופל. As I understand, he says, why does Rashi, here in the question, soon he's going to say Rashi and Tosfos are different. The question, he's asking Shiloh's Tam, I don't understand. Tosfos says you had a payday, then you had a maliach, then you had the pas. So everything is tough because really you wanted the payday. So what's the negay of the payday is choshev or not choshev. The main thing is that the pas is not the pas is like really cardboard. If I eat cardboard, I would rather eat cardboard. I need cardboard, so I'm eating pas. But really, it's all I want to eat the fruits. What's the negay that the payday is choshev and the payday is not choshev? What's the difference? Why does Rashi have to say that the parrot kineret are very choshev? What's the negay because they're choshev? Skip the brackets, a different pshat from the Pri Chodesh. Teda. The Maliach Vadai Eine Choshev Min Hapas. You know what? Let me not skip the brackets. Pri Chodesh. V'chich Moshe Rash Kadash Rashal Shevi Taz Sifkot Bez Afshal Hevish Kem V'Shem Rashal V'Taz Makol Kiven L'Das Rashal V'chich Kem Moshe Rash Yagor. The Pri Chodesh asks exactly the same question. He says, "Oh, you know what? He argues in all the poskim and the Shulchan Aruch. It's a appellate to me. Shulchan Aruch, no one realized. Rashi says it has to be Peiros Shuvas. He says, Shulchan Aruch says that any time you're eating something and the pas is only there because your mouth is on fire, and you eat something, Kedei Shaloya Zikenu Groina, you ate Zachveis, a jalapeno pepper, like I keep on giving this example. Ate a jalapeno and eats a piece of bread. So that's a garnish. The bread is nothing. Okay? So the Pri Chodesh says that all the poskim are wrong. All the Shulchan Aruch, everyone's wrong. Because you see, Rashi says that it has to be Peiros Chashuvim. It's only someone that Mamish ate Peiros Genoisa or Peiros Chashuvim, and then he ate a Maliach, and then he ate Pas. Then otherwise Pas always patas everything. Well, whoever heard of such a thing that Pas shouldn't patat everything? That's a Mishagas that Pas patas everything. So Shulchan Aruch made a big mistake. Okay, that's the Pri Chodesh Shita. Let's continue. Teida, good, but we do pass like the Shulchan Aruch. Teida, the Maliach v'adei nechoshev and pas. The Maliach, he says, is not choshev than the pas. Pas afil hoch kimish keis koves atzm lachil sapedes ze ikr tzayn ater bei deze nitzach lemaliach v'achkach lepas have la pas tofel. He says that according to Tosfos, what happens? If he had all three on the table, the birchas sapedes pat is everything. But what happens if he had the pedes in this house and the next house he had the maliach and the pas? So he makes the bracha and the maliach and passes the pas. Now is the maliach more choshev than the pas? They're both really coming because he had the peiros. Between these two things, the maliach is more choshev, is like more ikr because he needs it. The pas is only an after chaser. But so we see from here that the point why we ignore pas is not because the thing that goes before is more choshev. It's not the chshivas of the ikr. It's the tfeilos of the tofel. Mamish like they say the chakira. Like am I sitting on top of the chair? Or the chair is under me. So it's taka here. The word is not because I'm on top of the chair. The chair is under me. The chair is under me. It's not because the ikir is choshev, the pas is choshev, the maliach is choshev, because the pas is garnished. The pas is as good as cardboard. I would rather chew cardboard and it has no what's it called in it? Machaya. I'd rather have cardboard. Alamai, I can't eat cardboard. Okay, so I can't eat cardboard. But why does it actually say? That's to do with the chashivas. The Mishnah, the Gemara says in the beginning of Ketzah Mevorchim that when you mix shemen and anigorin, whatever, beet juice, oil and beet juice, so when he has a problem in his throat and the olive oil heals the throat, so the shemen is ikir. When he got in tofel, mevarach al shemen by the priyaitz, a poiter and they go. Alma mishum shachshif choishish begroine. Ikir kavanos el shemen. And he got is like a drink, like beets. It's a beet juice. They used to take beet juice, but usually beet juice is shahakal. And here, because he mixed it with shemen. Yeah, he makes by the priyaitz. The beets. He puts in a cup, he puts shemen, he mixes it, he makes boy priya and he drinks. Yeah. The thing is not normal. But a person that's choshesh begroine and he mixes it with bee juice or anything, and he makes it edible, it's normal. And he wants the shemazayis because it's gonna heal his throat. So therefore, or for any other reason, if he really wants the shemazayis, he makes body priyoetz. That's what the Gemara says. So we see that we go what the two things. What's your ikar kavana? What's your ikar? Right, exactly, for good chazan. So we go bossa ikar kavana. Ikar benidin the dan kimish ikar kavana salam aliyah chavlei apas tfeilav afim lo yipei shum yosem apas. So same thing here. Why does Rashi keeps on asking the same question? He's going back to the same. Why does Rashi say that the peiros genois chshuvim? What's the idea? It's not important that I'm sitting on top of the chair. The ikar is the chair is under me. Why is it important? But what's the difference? Any peiros that I eat and they're sweet, I get a stomach ache. But what the why does he have to say the peiros chshuvim? The point is that for whatever reason, my mouth is on fire now, and I don't want you. So therefore, I'm eating bread. So the bread is as good as cardboard. So why is it Rashi have to say that the peitus or the maliach is choshev? It's not negei where choshev and not choshev. The ikar is that this is tofu, that the bread is, the chair is under me, not that I'm on top of the chair. That's the shaila. So he says, "Miu be'emez Rashi pirush mishum gamkim choshev begroin neis harbe shem shebach choshev shemnikas." Mashma that Rashi holds it's not good. Not good enough? That's my perspective. Be'emez, this item has to, the ikar has to be a little more choshev. Taka be'emez. However, I'm a Magen Avraham. Really, Rashi said Shem Haba, but he really meant even Shem Mat. So you don't want to start arguing Magen Avraham. If you're going to argue with Magen Avraham, at least it's not a raya to you. So Rashi, so he says, I'll tell you a pshat. Shana Pirish, Pedis Genoisem, Sukim Beyosef, and Melech Harba Kadishim. So, nimtza lafita midere ben yona amaliach nechel ima pedis. Imken ena pas tofa lagabe amaliach b'fnei atzme kim lagabe apedis shem be'eme chashuv emes yosem ena pas. Says basically that you take some salt and put it. These pedis are so sweet. Pedis guys, you can't eat it. They take a little salt, put it on the pedis, and then you can eat it. Alamai, later, your mouth is very, it's very, you need a piece of bread. No, it does matter. It really, so the part of what Peres Chashuvim, again, what's this kasha? This kasha was that according to Tosfos, I could show you that it's not negei or choshev, because even if you took, because there's 3 steps, and you took the one away, he went to another house and he had maliach and a pas, that he makes a bracha maliach pat as the pas. So we see that it's not neged. Tafel one should be more choshev. So he says no, there was no 3 steps. According to Rashi, there's only 2 steps. He has fruits and he puts some salt, and then he goes straight. It doesn't fully answer the kasha. He doesn't explain it. This is what I want to explain. So no, he said that paid cheshuvim. He answered the kasha. Rashi. According to Tosfos, there were 3 steps. There was the fruit, there was the pas, and yeah, the Tosfos told a minute ago and it says no, because there are other payers. Why would you put the? If you eat an apple, you're not going to eat an apple with salt. These payers are so sweet, it's impossible. I can't imagine sweet. You have to put salt in it. Exactly. He ate it and he went crazy. So me and you never tasted the fruit. He ate it. They shlokish. I'm just going to admit in there that we take a little chaim and go crazy. They shlokish. He ate these fruits. They have to send guards to tie him up to take him home. So exactly. So Avla Toisus Mefarish Oichel Maliach Akash Oichel Kfara Pedis. Rafal Bekena past Fail Gab Maliach Mein Sham. ואפילו דדיין שם, אפילו לא אכל הפרץ בעצם העמדם שמוח יצר לברך המלך, וזה נשמע אפילו איקר גרוע בעצם מן התופל, מקום מאחר שכעסו איקר אצלם, וברך הלום מפויטר את התופל. Basically, according to Rashi, there's 2 steps. The Tosfos, there's 3 steps. וגם Rashi יש להם את היודל הזה. Rashi באמס is also masking to Tosfos. Varaya mitznoin v'zayis, that there is tznoin and zayis, and we say you make a bracha on the tznoin, even though the tznoin is less choshev than the zayis. So I may ring around the rosy, the kasha is back. So I want to explain, Lanius Daitim, time is short, what the Tzemach Tzedek is saying, the way I see it. I think that there's a machlokes, he's saying there's not a machlokes that Rashi Tosfos, 2 different pshatim. What do I think of the pshat is like this? Rashi is saying, how much salt? And he's not saying it beferish, but that's what I think. How much salt are they putting here? According to Rashi, they're not putting a lot of salt here. Some balabatish geret. Well, if you have delicious fruit, mamish gevaldik, it's as good as hashish. The guy could go crazy from it. It's better than marijuana. There's no side effects even. It's gevaldik. This is good. Okay. So why would you go put salt on it? Why would you put salt? Okay, it's too sweet. So okay, But you're not going to put so much salt that the chleis now there's a chash shelo yazikenu groinoich. So really, what's happening is like this: pashtus, you put a little bit of salt, sprinkle some salt on it. Elamai for it. Now that you had something salty, so you have to have afterwards a drink or something to eat, because that's the way the tev is from salt. If you eat just the apple, you don't feel an urge to have later something to eat or to drink. But when you eat something, even popcorn or potato chips, anything has salt in it, so you have later an urge to eat something or drink something. So really, the salt here is just to make a connection. Take, Pedis kinetis are very choshuv. They're so choshuv that between Pedis kinetis and bread. So if you have to measure one to the other, this is more. If you're asking me, a person's he's eating Pedis kinetis and bread. Which is the ikar and which is the tof? Oh, for sure the Pedis. Hands down. The Pedis, like I showed you from there. Oh, he says that's why it says in the Naftali Ayola Shlucha that his land will be Pedis. Is the Pedis kinetis. This is that was the bracha that when your person's going to have on the table Pedis genoiser and bread, you're asking which is the ikar and the tofu? The Pedis. But fourth, why do you have to say that they put a little salt? Because otherwise, what's the connection? There is seltzer and a smoothie. Which is the tofu? Which is the ikar? I want a cup of this and a cup of this. This is an ikar and this is an ikar. Mit Wasser geworden am Achuten, the seltzer with the smoothie. Gemacht a Schiddach mit dem zweiten. How did the seltzer become a Machuten with the smoothie? The seltzer is seltzer and the smoothie is a smoothie. The Pedis is Pedis and the pas is pas. They give one mechutana. Of course, you put a little bit of salt on the Pedis. Now you have an urge to drink something or eat something. Give one mechutana. Now the give one mechutana. Wer is the groisse mechuten? Oh, Pedis genoise is the groisse mechuten. He's the ikar and the bread is the tofu. Toisvus is talking so different. Rashi, that's what happened. The ikar is that the Pedis. The only reason we need a little sprinkle some salt is to make that the Pedis and the pas should become a chatonim. Otherwise, they're not mechatonim b'chlal. So you make two separate brachas. It was that ikar and that tof. Once they're mechatonim, and you have to ask me who's the bigger mechuten. Oh, Pedis genois is the biggest cheshuvim. Toisvus is a different thing. That's why Toisvus loy pligi. Toisvus is a different mahalach than gans. We're not talking about choshev Pedis here. But we're regular Pedis. And he has three things on the table. That's why it's three things on the table. He had an apple. He had another apple. 3, 4 apples. A tummy ache. Oh, he went to the doctor. The doctor says, eat something really salty. He's not putting salt now on the apple. So now he's looking for the most salty thing in the world because the doctor says the more salty it is, the more it's going to take out the leichus in your stomach. So he goes and he buys a bunch of jalapeno peppers. He buys and he eats a couple of them. Ooh. Whew. You can fly to the moon now. Now he's scared. Now the pas, he's going to eat the pas. The reason the pas is tough, not because the Pedis are more choshev, not because I'm sitting on top of the chair, but the chair is under me. Because the pas is like cardboard. But he can't eat cardboard, I'd rather eat cardboard. It toishes and they're a different shot, but there's no Floyd Pligi. Rashi, we're talking about, there's two things on the table, and they didn't put a lot of salt. They just put enough salt to make the bread a machuten with the Pedis. Schenken, Toises we're talking about, not that the Vortas, there's three things on the table. And there's the salty thing, is very salty. Not that I put salt, I'm just finding a salty item, which is unbelievably salty, in order to take the leichus out of my stomach. So the pas becomes a big toffel. So Rashi is talking about the reason why the pas is toffel, because the Pedis are more choshev. And Toysis is saying that the pas is toffel because he's like dust. Different shot in Maloi Pligi. Why do they have to argue? They have a different shot in the Mishnah, but the Lahechitesa they're arguing. They're not arguing. There's no machloikas. They're not arguing. Why should they argue? We don't like to make machloikas. We don't have to. what the Mishnah said is a machloikis, but why should we say ladina? There should be a machloikis. Attacker like pligi. No, but so then we're not a mechut. They're not a mechut. Why are you saying it's ikkev toffel? It's like the seltzer and the smoothie. Okay, there's no shayla seltzer smoothie about shahakol. I'm saying, like, there's no, they're not mechutanim b'chlal. A little bit of salt made them already mechutanim. But Rashi, the Tosfos, we're talking about this very malach. It's enough melech to send you to the moon, and therefore your choishes shalei zikenu groina. Now you have to eat some bread to calm you down. So that's the pshat that now we understand. We brought from the Shalah Kodesh. The Shalah says that you should never do it really to make the bread should be a toffel. So why? Because you never know if a person, right? Maybe. So he said it really. I'll leave it at Tosfos, because according to Rashi, what's the difference? He wants to let me look at this. But Peiris Genoisa is more choshev. That's what Yaakov Avinu said. Benavua, he said, and Naftali Ayola Shlucha, like the Targum Uncle says, his fruits are going to be so delicious. Like the Ra'ah says that the brach is going to be on the Peiris and not on the pas. So, what do you mean? You tell me I'm choshesh? Maybe the person wants to let me look at this, but his shot goes well on Tosfos. But if you learn like the Chodesh Takas, Machlokas Rashi and Tosfos, the Shalah goes according to Tosfos. According to Samach Tzedek, it's not Machlokas Rashi and Tosfos. Ma Machodim Olay Pligi. So the Shalah said it in Tosfos, but it's true. Rashi is not arguing. The Alter Rebbe brings, well, he doesn't bring so much the Rashi. He brings more, but good. So he's. Why should he wouldn't bring the Salach of Rashi because it's not common. Who has today Peiris Genoisa? Bring me some Peiris Genoisa. I'd love to have a shtickle Peiris Genoisa. Huh? I didn't know. Now they're telling me about the bananas. I can't wait to look. Huh? Okay, but it has to be something bedoim at least a little bit. It has to be bedoim, not the bananas you find here and associated. A little better. Yeah. Okay, so let's be masakim. Let's be masakim. Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays, almost everything you cook, you put snow.
Right.
Snow?
No. Radish.
Oh.
I want to summarize again what we spoke about last time. Yeah. It's known as the big one. Right. Yeah. Oh, Avi, show him. Thank you, Avi. Yeah. Excellent. No, I think Yossi took care of him with the Warners. So, Masakim, again, what we spoke last time. What kind of thing is this? Why were they eating the fruits until they're going crazy? The hair is falling out. So, the Bach says, I think this is not Stam a Pshat. I think this is Emes. The Bach says, that the Gemara says about Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why going to Yisrael. So, but we say the Nusach HaBrocha Lechel Mepiri Zboy Metuva. So he says the Moshe Rabbeinu, he doesn't need, because when we eat the fruit side Yisrael, we get Yiras Shamayim from it. But Mamish Begashmias, we eat the fruit side Yisrael, you get Yiras Shamayim from it. But Moshe Rabbeinu is Yiras Milza Zutrasa, so it's small potatoes, pun intended. So he doesn't need it. Lechel mepirias by metuva. But me and you, that Yiras nicht as Apostel sagt, have Yerushalayim. So we need fruits from Eretz Yisrael. When we eat the fruits in Eretz Yisrael, we gain Yerushalayim. That's what the Bach says. So like I said, that the fruits of Eretz Yisrael is, there is, like the Rambam says, there's boss of Alechem which nigla the Torah, and then there's the sweet, dvash, sweet stuff, which is Pnimius Torah. But it's not miyashav liba shalodim. A person could go crazy also. We learn too much. It has to be like the Rebbe Rashab says, 2/3 and a third. But these tzaddikim and the golol, they indulged as in lechem mepirians by metu only Pnimius Torah. Ad kedei kach that even if would stick off, the klipa couldn't stick to them. And moisteris, which is the malusa, the Cyrus, the Megid, a lot of the is and I take it and ganze meshuga, like the Tanakh, it says Madu Abba Meshuga. No, the Novi was Meshuga because the Novi was the Simcha of Meshuga. People said that's the way they called him Novi. Madu Abba Meshuga, the guy. So the Shlokish ate the sweet stuff is a Gavar Meshuga. So that's why they kept on going back to eating this stuff. So David shall help from the Taka Baldas or Mataka. We should go back to Eretz Yisrael and we should eat the Peiris Genois Bismavel Bald Meshuga. Verechas Shemarza. Genoiser is Yam Kinneret. Genoiser is another name for Kinneret. The potatoes of the Kinneret, they're very good potatoes. Probably, they say now even that they're very delicious potatoes. But probably Bisman the Beis Hamikdash, it was like, it was like unbelievable. Okay. This is Tzemach Tzedek. This is not your Zayda, Tzemach Tzedek. Your wife is, you said you or your wife from the Tzemach Tzedek? Huh? No, there's the first Tzemach Tzedek was a Menachem Mendel Kruchmal, and his wife is a descendant. Huh? Yeah. There was a tzaddik that lived 100 years before the Tzemach Tzedek, the Lubavitcher Tzemach Tzedek. Yeah, the same. His name was Menachem Mendel, and the sefer was Tzemach Tzedek. Same thing. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's no, it's unbelievable that the family name should still be and they should have descendants. And no, it's unbelievable. Well, there's a lot of those. So there was Mo Quebec, the Maral, right? But it's amazing.
Only 6 generations.
Wow.
No, 4 years. No, like 2 generations per year.
It should be more than 6 generations. How could it be so little? Probably more. Or usually you can have 20 years.
Jose was born in the early 1900s.
But still. No, you could have because you can have a person that has a child beziknusai. You can have a